My good friends. You're chilling with the Hippie. It is episode 11 or 12, and this time we're talking about chronic pain and guilt. And guilt. I, as off my cuff goes, it's just as I sit here and all of a sudden a subject comes to mind that I want to share with you, I research and I record. I have two articles that I may or may not read from, but what it was. Let me just back up a little bit. Yesterday was a really wonderful day with me and my two sons, and exercise and my body and my life. It was a really good day. Walked. We went on a picnic and an adventure. We walked almost 10 kilometers. Almost 10 kilometers. We had a lot of fun. We didn't get home till about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Then we had burgers and chili. It was a really good day. And then we had a movie night. Stayed up late, watched movies. Really good night. Anything that a parent will wake up the next day, even though they're a single parent and they know their son has to go home to their mother, would wake up and feel proud of that day. Yet, I wake up feeling guilty. And I started asking myself, what the fuck is this all about? Hang on, let me fix my... People have said about my sound. Let me get my microphone just a little closer, because I'm kind of mellow today. But I started asking myself, what the fuck is going on? Why am I waking up with this sense of guilt? But I also realized, I was waking up with a lot of pain. A lot of pain. Walking that far, doing that much. I'm paying for it today. And realizing that I'm paying for it today, as I started to disseminate the issues, I realized right away my body knows whatever I may have planned for today is off the books. My body is saying no. And that brings up the guilt, because I feel a responsibility, a duty. My job on earth is looking after my family. That's my job. I do it. I try to do it every single day, even the days when my older son isn't here, my two girls are already gone, and my little son's with his mom. I'm constantly thinking of my kids. When you're in pain all the time, you're so limited with what you can do with your kids. And I started realizing, some of what I'm experiencing is a guilt factor. So I researched chronic pain and guilt, and wow, you would think somebody who's lived with chronic pain for 30 years would have understood this, but it was not part of my training, is that I should, or I would, not should, feel guilt about my pain. But as I look now and research it, I'll read this to you, and I want you to understand that although written by a woman, could easily be written by me. Quote, one of the hardest parts of dealing with health issues would have to be the guilt. Guilt that you're not enough because of your illness. Guilt that you are taking away from the life of your partner or friends. Guilt that your children, if you are lucky enough to have any, do not have the kind of parent they deserve. Guilt that you are in pain. And that stops you from doing many things with your family. And then guilt that you break down and finally take something for that pain. Yes, I don't believe in a lifetime of being guilted. I don't believe in feeling guilty, but I feel guilty. It's the pain. there's only so much I can do with the pain. Either I over medicate and the pain is almost gone, but then I'm dealing in a medicated state, or I under medicate and then I can't do as much because of the pain. So I know that the chronic pain that I feel, that I felt for 30 years and that I will feel for the next 30, is not my fault. So again, it's just a broken body. So again, should I feel guilt? No. Shoulda, coulda, woulda doesn't change the fact that you do. So I want to read another part from another website. Living with a disability means I cannot be blamed for our misfortunes, that it's not my fault, and yet I feel like everything that goes wrong can be traced back to me. Although not failures by definition, I am constantly racked with guilt. In the same way, my body is constantly battered in pain. So is my mind with guilt. It pulls me under every time I try to breathe, every time I try to move up in life. That guilt pulls me back under into the abyss. It is one of the major symptoms of chronic pain, because I used to live a life where my weekends, man, we barely saw our house. We were out with the kids. I was a Cub Scout leader. I was a Brownie leader. I was a coach in T-ball, and then later softball. We were busy all the time. Tuesdays and Thursdays were extracurricular nights with the kids and taking them to places. And man, it was busy. And I was a single dad. And I always felt so much pride in how much I was able to get done with 3 kids and no wife. Now fast forward to here, and I have another boy, but just a boy, and I can do so much less with him than I could with the 3 before. Now, of course, I can justify it. I can understand it because it makes sense. I'm 30 years older. My youngest is 23 years older than my next youngest. So there's a huge gap of difference and an awful lot of pain between the birth of my last one and the very last one. So, no, I shouldn't feel guilt, but I do. And understanding it's important. So I thought that I'd do an off my cuff and discuss it and bring up the discussion. We can start talking about it down below in the comments. What do you do for it? Do you get this? Do you feel guilty when you get high? Do you feel guilty when you hurt? I do. Yes, to both of those. I shouldn't. I'm just doing my best to get through this world, and my son always tells me, my little boy always tells me that I'm the best father ever. I have to believe him. We should believe our children. Peace, love, harmony.